And we are back with another episode of We Bombastic Few, the podcast, the experience, the special. Season 2, Episode 9, Episode 22, yet to be titled. I am Daniel, back from my hiatus, on top of the other hiatus, and I am here with Brent.
What up? We, as you can tell, we were able to untie Daniel from last week. We sent a robot. It was one of those ones built with Legos, and it untied him, and he's back.
It was a Lego version of like one of those bomb disarmers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Only could be controlled through Minecraft, though.
Also,
so that was pretty brutal.
Please don't speak until you're introduced, if you would kindly. And now introducing Lindsay.
I feel like I already spoke enough.
Maybe a little too much.
Whatever.
Hold your tongue in the future.
Yep. Another episode, now recording from home instead of my apartment at school. It is nice to have home cooking instead of cat food or my cooking. Which I guess is also home cooking. But
you say cat food or calf?
I heard.
Yeah, cat food. Cafeteria.
Okay.
Hey, no, we won't judge you. College can be a hard time. You gotta eat what you can find.
Well, I mean, it's actually a little bit of both because like they serve cat food in the cafeteria.
I highly doubt that.
Dang.
I think cats would eat food in the cafeteria. That makes it cat food. Today's segments are a discussion on sleep cycles, a hypothetical, because what is a podcast without a hypothetical, and a superhero debate. And that brings us to the bombastic word of the day, superchery. Superchery. Superchery is an attack made on one at a disadvantage. The example given: he didn't win fairly. That was mere superchery, I tell thee.
We also forgot to use the bombastic word at all last week, batrachamayamaki, meaning...
We haven't used the bombastic word in its
well, we're gonna use it this time.
Yeah,
in a long time.
I specifically picked this one because I think it'll come up. Probably. Even
I sure hope so with a superhero debate.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's not make a batrachamayamaki out of this. Let's take us to our first segment, Lindsay.
First segment is a discussion on sleep cycles. And what brought this up was that a few of us were considering doing a different sleep cycle. I've done one around this time last year. I tried a new one. And then Brent informed me about a different one just yesterday, actually. So, first one we're going to discuss is the monophasic sleep. And this is typically like your standard sleep. And which typically you get, they're saying you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, and it's all within one period of time. Hence the monophasic sleep cycle. Anything you guys want to share or thoughts about that one?
So, like, this is the one that nearly every single person on Earth does at this point, where so you have the single night phase from, like, let's just say anywhere from like 11 to 7 or something, or like midnight to like 8 a.m. or something. So it's single unbroken sleep. But actually, one thing I was reading was saying that historically, before the Industrial Revolution, it's surmised that was not actually the traditional, like, normal form. People or historians think that, according to Wikipedia, back in the day, they used to do like the segmented sleep where it all happened at night, but you'd sleep for like 3.5 hours or 4 or something, and then you're up for like an hour or 2, and then you go back to sleep for another 3.5 or 4 hours. And the article was like, people would use this time for petty theft or writing poems, because apparently during like that time you're more calm and like you have a better perspective on things, which I thought was interesting.
which you totally just spoiled one of the next few segments. But yeah, I'm good. I like my monophasic sleep, but maybe I should go to the what you just spoiled, the segmented sleep, biphasic. Biphasic part one. This one, literally what he was saying, has two different phases of sleep, about 3.5 hours of sleep, with a little bit of time in between those two phases. I did this when I first started my current job. I went from working like all evening or late into the night shifts to working starting. I'd get to work around 5 or 5:30, and when I got home, I was super exhausted, so I would sleep for so many hours, and then I'd be up, do some homework or whatever, and then I'd go straight back to sleep and then wake up for the next day. And it worked out pretty well, actually. It just was hard to get myself to sleep that second sleep cycle.
Okay. Never mind. Keep going.
Well, no, discuss. I mean,
well, I'm just gonna spoil them all because we don't need to go through all these and so.
Yeah. Go for
it. There's two forms of the biphasic. There's the one where it's all happens at night, and they happen just in quick proximity. There's just like an hour or two break between them. But then there's also a biphasic sleep cycle that's more commonly known as the siesta, where it's like a main 6-hour sleep at night. And then during the day, it's like about 1.2 hours of like a nap. That's midday, normally after lunch or something. And so which of those two did you like swap to? Segmented or siesta?
It's definitely a mix between, because I'd be up from 4 to 3, so about 11 hours. I'd take probably about a 4-hour nap, a 3 or 4 hour nap. I'd be up for however many hours until about 11 or midnight, and then I'd be asleep until I got up at 4 again.
Okay.
So it's probably right in between the two.
Yeah. So you basically, it's just a dead even split biphasic. See, because what I do in college is I'll do the siesta, except I'll sleep for a full 8 hours at night, and then I'll take a 1 to 2 hour nap during the day. And because when we were planning the podcast, Daniel was like, all right, what time do you want to do this? And he was like, anytime after 3. And I'm like, 3? What do you mean? It's like 3 a.m. It's like, what? And so, Daniel, explain what your sleep cycle currently has shifted to.
Well, I'm currently on the, monophasic, right. I'm still on a monophasic cycle, but what I've found with taking online classes is that I have even less motivation to get up, and my alarms, I still have trouble waking up to alarms. That's something that I'm not good at waking up to my alarms. That came up in an episode, I think, because we were talking about alarm clocks. Anyways, I discovered on accident, because I had to stay up pretty late to get some stuff done, and I ended up waking up around 10 p.m. and I just went through my day normally, and then I started falling asleep early afternoon, or mid-afternoon, I guess. And so that's when I sleep from mid-afternoon to around, at this point, I'm falling asleep around 6 and waking up between 2 and 3. And it works pretty well for me. I get my free time out of the way before I go to classes and stuff. I go to classes, maybe get some stuff done afterwards, meet with groups for projects or whatever, and then I can go to sleep. It's pretty nice. Works well for me. The nicest thing about it is that, well, because I don't have to set alarms, and because I'm waking up so early, it doesn't matter. Or rather, it doesn't matter if I quote unquote oversleep, because I'm still going to be awake way earlier than I need to be.
So, wait, you go ahead, Brent. I got another.
That works perfectly for a college student, because normally, and you mentioned this earlier, where it's like you don't you wouldn't normally do that because you're sacrificing a social life. But at this point, it doesn't really matter because you can just meet with people online. So that's a really good way to maximize like extra time, I guess. But then moving on, the other ones that are a lot more interesting than these. So there's the everyman cycle, which the most extreme form of it, because there are different forms for all of these. But so for the everyman, it's 3.5 hours of sleep during the night, and then 3 20-minute naps spread out across the day. And then there's one called the Dymaxion, which is throughout the entire day, you sleep 4 times for 30 minutes. And then there's the Uberman, which is 6 to 8 naps across the day, each lasting 20 minutes. So these are the ones that I'm super interested in because I've always wanted to try specifically the Dymaxion because that one's the craziest one with the 4 30-minute naps where so you end up only sleeping 2 hours throughout the entire day. And I really want to try one of these. Unfortunately, the according to research, it might not be super great for you, but the jury's still out on that. But anyway, so these things are what super interests me because just think about if you got an extra 6 hours in the day, going from 8.
Yeah. So what I was going to ask Daniel is that Daniel, really quick, do you still feel like you need 8+ hours of sleep? Like how much hours of sleep are you getting on average with your new sleep cycle?
Pretty typical, like 7 to 9. And I mean, honestly, like when I was talking to Brent about this earlier, I kind of simplified by saying I haven't done it to sacrifice social life, but mainly like I'd be sacrificing like when the basketball courts were open. That was something me and my friends like to do is play pickup basketball.
Okay, yeah.
But I like if I were to maintain this until I go back to school, hopefully in the fall, then I honestly might because a lot of my friends are up late at night, and so I'd still get to hang out with them.
Yeah, because I've learned that I've started to grow that I'm needing less and less sleep. That like with my new job, like being able to wake up in the morning, I guess just being up with the sun, it gives me more energy because I've learned that I only need about 4 to 6 hours of sleep and I can function perfectly fine. Like I could still get 8 hours of sleep, but it's much easier now. I used to not be able to do 4 hours of sleep, but now I can just because I'm like not fighting circadian rhythm.
See, it's the opposite for me because
Yeah.
For several years I got used to running on like less than 5 hours of sleep like every night during the week, and I would get a lot of sleep on the weekends. But this semester I was trying to fix my sleep schedule so that wouldn't be happening, and now if I get less than a normal amount, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. Which, yeah, that question comes up for me with this Dymaxion and all these other ones. Like, you're not necessarily, you kind of find the circadian rhythm, but like, especially Dymaxion, like, you're literally going to sleep at every quarter of the day. And I feel like only for a little bit amount of time. And I feel like I would definitely need more than just a half hour sleep every, 6 hours?
Yeah. Well, see, that one's more of like specifically it's designed for people who are like on boats or in the military or something who need to be awake and alert for long periods of time. And so it's not really something you do long term, but the everyman is what I think I might try this where it's 3.5 hours sleep and then 3 20-minute naps throughout the day because 3 20-minute naps is very doable and then 4 hours at night is also doable. So the only thing that makes me hesitant is the fact that I have so many tests coming up and me being tired during them is probably not a great idea.
Yeah, it'd probably be something you'd want to start up after you get through the tests.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, like over the summer, I'll have a job. So won't be able to do that unless I could just do you think the company would work with me where it's just like, hey, can I, instead of a lunch, can I get 2 20-minute naps? And I'll just eat on the job.
You'll just eat during your nap.
Oh yeah, boom, exact. I'll get like an IV of a milkshake.
It's a sandwich IV.
Oh yeah,
It's a big tube.
well, it's a really big tube. It's not even ground up or anything. The tube is just large enough to fit an entire sandwich through, and it just goes straight into your stomach.
Some people have called this tube an intestine.
Well, I mean, wouldn't that mean that it's coming in the other way?
Never mind. Some people call this tube a throat.
Yeah. Right. All right. So, you listeners out there, try this could be your chance. Try a new sleep cycle. Who knows? You might learn something about yourself or about life in general.
Yeah, you might experience a new part of the day that you've never experienced before.
Mm-hmm. All right, bombastic quote. Lindsay, what you got?
Bombastic quote. Red lips don't lie, rearranged.
I kind of don't want to give any context for that, but at the same time, I'm going to give some context for that.
Yeah, I'd appreciate
so
that.
What the other, I was pretty bored, and so I took our podcast, and Google Docs has a dictation feature where it allows you to, or it'll type what you speak, but as you all know, that's not the greatest technology right now. It's now, I will admit, it is very good, but sometimes you get little gems like red lips don't lie, rearranged, which I know we did not say during the episode. And so I only did like half of one episode, and so we might try and do that in the future and get some more bombastic quotes from ourselves, which I guess we come up with the bombastic quotes anyway. But all right, so there's your context. Red lips don't lie, rearranged.
But naturally, that was all a farce. It's actually a quote by Mikhail Gorbachev.
Yep. Do you want to explain the deeper meaning to us?
No. No, I don't.
Okay.
Try to keep it in English.
Right.
It's some of it got lost in the translation, so it's kind of hard to.
But give us the gist of it.
Well, it's kind of like if you see a field of red tulips, and if you were to rearrange those red tulips, they wouldn't be lying down unless you're really bad at gardening.
There you have it, folks. All right. And it's hypothetical time. Everyone's favorite time. All right. Because what's a podcast without hypothetical? So the other day, we were chilling. I was at the grocery store, right? And I was looking at the Little Debbie moon pie. And what I didn't know, and what society didn't know, is on the back of every single Little Debbie moon pie is instructions on how to make a warp gate to travel faster than light and to get to other planets. And so, society, we all found this out about moon pie, Little Debbie packages, and so we all got one. And so now we can travel faster than light. We can get to other planets. By the way, Earth is super overcrowded. Lots of people. No one wants to be here. So the government, they're like, yo, we got all these new planets that no one's at. Well, we gotta get some people on these planets. So, and there are so many planets. They found like over 10 billion. And so what they did is they're like, hey, you remember that thing called the Homestead Act we did back with America? Well, we're doing it with planets now. So the deal is all these new planets. And so if you so choose, you can go to a new planet. And if you live there for, we'll say 10 years, the original Homestead Act was like 5 years. But so if you live on this planet for 10 years, you get legal ownership of that planet.
The entire planet.
Yes. And so this option's given to everyone. And so you can hop in a spaceship, go off to a planet, and you have to live on that planet for 10 years, and then you get legal ownership of that planet. So
say My first thought is
Go ahead.
what if I get my entire family to move with me? How is it decided who gets the legal ownership of it if I get a whole group of people to come with me?
It's normally like the head of it was like the head of the household, I'm pretty sure. And so it was usually like the father. But yeah, so if multiple people come, you can't have that. It's just you're going to have to decide who owns the planet, basically.
Okay. And my second question is, what's the bare minimum of time present needed to be considered you living there?
What do you mean?
Like what if I want to go visit my buddies because I can teleport now or whatever, pretty much. I can
You can't teleport.
warp
You can travel
time.
faster than light.
Travel fast. Pretty much. I can teleport. I can travel very, very fast. What if I want to go visit some people? So I'm away from home sometimes.
You get 3 week-long vacations throughout every year.
Okay. Huh.
Other than that, you gotta stay on your planet.
Okay.
So the first thing is people need to consider is can you, and let's just say if you brought your family with you, can you and your family start over from scratch on a new planet and survive for 10 years? Because they're obviously habitable, but you don't know what kind of resources they have. They might not have, like, let's say you go to a planet with no trees and it's only algae. Like, you're gonna have to figure out how to build a house out of algae or something.
Yeah.
Or what if you ended up on Bombasia, where you can't even go to the planet?
Bombasia.
Bombasia.
Yeah.
You were literally outvoted, Daniel. You lost this battle.
This isn't
Yeah,
a vote. This is just the name of the planet, you know. I mean,
No.
we don't make the rules here.
The manager does.
But
Are you the manager of Bombasia? Have you lived there for 10 years?
yeah, I actually have, and I made an airplane on there, so I'm chilling on my tree. But
Heresy.
To be continued.
yeah, Daniel, what do you think?
Well, quick note. Moon
questions.
Pie is not a subsidiary of Little Debbie. I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Is it not?
No, because I just looked it up to make sure, and one thing I saw was chocolate moon pie versus Little Debbie chocolate marshmallow pies.
Well, hot dang! When I googled moon pie, it auto-filled Little Debbie.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Hold on a minute.
lies. Government lies.
Let's take this to Twitter.
What?
Are they
It's the new butterfly effect.
from the Little Debbie Twitter? Are moon pies the same as at moon pie, or that is very ambiguous? Let me go to the moon pie page. Doesn't say anything about Little Debbie. I'm just gonna say I'm right. Doesn't seem
All
like
right.
it refers to Little Debbie anywhere on the box either.
Fine.
Hold on,
What?
hold
Well, the
on,
box
hold
still
on.
told us how to space travel. So.
Yeah, well, yeah. So that aside, what'd you ask me?
Questions, comments.
Questions.
What do you
comments.
think?
So, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, because obviously there are gonna be people. So, like, does everyone have a tracker on their ship? Because otherwise, I feel like it could be decades and decades and decades before you get found, just because of all the different places you could end up with faster than light speed.
Yeah, so that's because there's very high probability. We're saying that it takes very little amount of time. So theoretically, you could get from galaxy to galaxy super easily. But that you raise a good point of like, how do people know about it? So there's obviously going to be some form of a registry for people to have gotten there in the first place. But there's also no reason per se for people to go through that registry and be like, hey, planet 32 CADLAT2. Let's go to that planet.
Flat too.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe like a merchant ship or some form of a ship probably would go through and be like, yo, have you got any good resources? And then if you say no, or if they don't deem that you have any good resources, you're probably not going to get visited again.
I'm picturing Brent. I don't think Lindsay. Have you played Wind Waker?
Yes.
I'm picturing is his name Beetle as he goes around in the ship like, hello.
Oh. No, wait.
Hello.
Yeah, is he in that in Wind Waker and Skyward Sword, or is it just one of them?
No, he's in Wind Waker. And then he's also in Breath of the Wild as like the traveling merchant, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's in Skyward Sword too.
I didn't know because I haven't played Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah, he's in Skyward Sword.
Anyways, I'm picturing that guy going around in a spaceship, but he's like paddling through space, and he's just in a little canoe.
That'd be so great. Yeah, you're right. His name is Beetle. I'm pretty sure.
But
yeah, that's great. I like that picture.
Yeah, so okay, so this isn't like hey, because we can travel like this now, just go to a planet and you can occupy it. This is all the world governments were like, hey, here are these planets. If you go to them, they're yours.
Well, like, I'm thinking that would have to be how it is because it would be almost impossible, even with faster than light travel. You and your family are not going to be able to go from galaxy to galaxy. First off, you're just not going to have the know-how to navigate to planets on your own. And then also you don't have the resources per se to go to each planet and be like, hey, is this habitable? No. All right, moving on. So I'm thinking the government definitely made a registry. Yeah. And so they know who, and also they need to have one to know who owns the planets. And so would you want to take other people with you? Because it would definitely make sense to take other people with you, but would you want to own your own planet and then take other people with you? Because if you take them with you initially, then you gotta.
The thing is split. I would not aim to own any planets. I would just become a space pirate.
That'd be so much fun.
What would you do as a space pirate?
Just be the freest man in the universe.
You could literally travel from world to world and just like visit them and not have to worry about having your own place.
I'm not letting you visit my planet. You might try and steal my planet because people would do that. They would go to
your planet. I would steal all your resources.
That it would be super hard to protect your planet though, because like back in the day, people would have to protect their plot of land. Now it's not a plot of land you're protecting; it's literally an entire planet.
Well, maybe there's like little. I mean, what's the smallest a planet can be before it's no longer considered a planet?
Ask Pluto.
Yeah, Pluto's like right on the edge apparently. So look up the size of Pluto.
We'll say Mercury because that's a planet and it is the smallest. Pretty sure.
Maybe you find a planet. It's not a planet, but it's one of the plots that the government laid out, and you go to it. It's pretty small, but like as far as landmass, the square footage is about like a state. Or Europe, like wow. Europe, like the land, like a Europe. Picture like a European country.
By water or something, and the only like island is the size of a state or something, covered by really anything.
No, I'm saying like the entire surface area of the planet is like just that. Because I mean, what is one family going to do with that much land? Like if you're just one family, like you could live off that forever, if it's habitable.
But there's no. I'm trying to. Let's just take the state of Alaska, the largest state, and if you were to make that surface area into a sphere, there's no way that's even remotely comparable to an asteroid, let alone a planet. Okay, it might be comparable to some asteroids, but it'd be a small asteroid.
Also, now that I think about it, if I were to habit a planet, I would definitely want more than a family to go, because unless you want your bloodline to die off, you're gonna run into some issues there.
That is a good.
long.
Well, you just go to the intergalactic malt shop. You mingle a little bit, and then you're like, hey, you want to come back to my planet? Yeah. I mean, that'd be a good selling point.
That's
It's like,
fair.
hey, I got a planet.
I guess you don't have to stick around at your place. You can go around. So that's fair.
Well, you only get a week, 3 weeks, a year.
That's all you need.
So, yeah, you can build a decent relationship. I'm sure FaceTime has gotten better over the course of this development. So it's wrapping up pretty much. First off, are you going to do it? I would even if I'd take no one with me, I'd go to a planet on my own for 10 years to own the planet. I'd do it.
I would definitely want to beef up on my survival skills. But yeah, that could be an interesting experience.
Yeah,
but you can't train for an unknown. Well, I guess it depends on how much information the government had on.
I mean, you can train on like so I can build myself a basic shanty, and then
what if they don't have
build fires for myself, and
they don't have fire materials.
Okay, then I'll have to find a different way to stay warm.
They don't have warmth.
They don't have warmth. I don't think it's habitable then, friend.
You don't need warmth. This is the future.
Oh, right. Everything's chrome.
Uh-huh. Exactly. All right, Lindsay, are you going to go?
100%. I think it would be awesome to own my own planet, even if it takes 10 years of my life to accomplish that.
You guys want to get like neighboring planets? Do you guys want to be in the same solar system or something?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm down.
All right.
Maybe.
Like all the biggest planet.
I got the moon. I got the moon of one of your planets.
That's a good question. If I own the planet, do I own the moon by extension?
I don't know. Does humanity own the moon? I guess so, since we've planted flags up there, allegedly.
All right, now we're going into the real hypothetical. We didn't land on the moon.
That's true. That's not a hypothetical, though.
Well, if I don't want the government to break through my door, I need to say it's a hypothetical, but we all know the truth.
We're on to you, FBI agent in my computer.
In your, they have shrinking
He just
technology.
climbs out of your screen.
Living.
It's like that episode of Legend of Korra where like the one girl goes visits the like all-knowing owl spirit or whatever, and he's like, you need to grant me new knowledge to be able to get into my library. And she's like, well, you've been down the spirit world for quite some time now. Since then, humankind has made the radio. And he's like, I'm aware of the radio. All there is a tiny little man inside of a box singing to you. And she's like, no, that's not how radios work at all. She talks about how like radio frequencies and stuff. And the owl like turns to his fox. His assistant fox is like, looks like someone fed me wrong information about little people inside boxes.
Yeah, that's classic.
Amazing.
All right, so everyone go out and claim your planet.
All right, I'll do it right now.
Yeah. Just get on. Make sure you buy a moon pie first, so you can get
go to
instructions.
planetpick.gov.
Yeah, and you can see the list there. Bombasia and Bombasia have both already been claimed, so don't bother looking at those.
Yeah, well,
I'm not sure I'd want to live on Bombasia, honestly. With
I don't know yet. Yeah,
sun moon.
I mean, we don't know anything about Bombasia, but I do know a little bit about Bombasia. So,
right. All right, Lindsay, you have an ad break for us?
Yep. Mini hypothetical for you. You're at home, chopping up some items to throw into a stew. However, you get way too passionate into the stew making process that you forget that you are using a dangerous utensil. With that, you cut yourself and almost ruin the stew. Now imagine we took away the dangerous part of the utensil. What does that leave us with? That's right, bladeless blades did it. Today we're introducing you to the not sharp, lighter, safe, and childproof knife. It saves times and fingers. With this new device, items can go straight into the stew without threatening the loss of a phalange. Try a bladeless blade today.
Quick question. Do you recommend bringing a bladeless blade to a gunfight?
Yes.
Well, just they didn't actually send me a product this time. So just clarifying question for the audience: is this just a handle?
I didn't get. That literally all I told you is all the information I have.
Yeah, I mean, we gave them plenty of advance to send us products. I didn't get one. I'm looking at this picture on their website, and it kind of seems like it's a handle, but it is
It's
bladeless.
safe.
It's bladeless.
It's safe.
It's safe.
All right.
But I don't know. See, they advertise it saves you time, and maybe it does because you realize you can't make stew.
Because you can't cut. You don't have to cut the stuff up. Maybe.
It's actually a workout device. So you're trying to like chop a potato, but you have to do it an infinite
With the
amount of
with the
times
handle.
to get the air to cut the potato.
You just have to beat the meat and vegetables into
A mash. Yeah.
You're actually just punching it, and you're just putting the thing in your hand to like strengthen your fist.
You're punching so hard that you're creating immense amounts of air pressure that are coming out in little blades because of the curvature of your knuckles. And it's slicing the vegetables. And thus it's childproof because it's hard to imagine a child that strong. I don't know how the bladeless blades did it, but they made this a possibility.
Don't forget to pick up your own bladeless blade at your local PetSmart.
Or just pick up a stick at the park.
Whoa. You're ruining the business of bladeless blades.
Hey, I'm just
They're
saying.
never gonna sponsor
there's
us
a whole
again.
market here. Have they even patented this?
That's a good question. Can you imagine the U.S. patent? It's like, all right, explain how the process works. It's like, well, we take a knife and we remove the blade very carefully. All right, we've made fun of the sponsor enough.
Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, buy their products. And everything we said was a joke. It's a great product. Yada yada. Anyways, superhero debate. So, for any new listeners, what we've done is we've had 6 random superpowers generated, and we matched them up in pairs to create 3 super people. Could be heroes, could be villains, and we.
I thought you were going for a gender neutral thing.
No. I mean, that too, but just super people. They have superpowers, 2 superpowers to be precise each. And we're arguing over which of these 3 people have the most practical abilities for everyday life, and then which one would win in a fight. So, the first person has the ability to breathe fire, and which, to clarify, you're generating gases and you're igniting it in your mouth and blowing it out. So, kind of like the stereotypical dragon. And time manipulation, which is the ability to affect the flow of time by slowing, accelerating, reversing, or stopping it. Then the second guy, hero, person, has magnetism manipulation. I stopped because I knew I was going to have trouble saying that. So basically, you can control magnetic fields, and then that person can also has the ability of resurrection. So they can come back to life after being killed or bring others back to life, which we can flesh that out a bit later. Third person, superhuman endurance. So higher resistance to several forms of damage before being injured. And they can exert themselves indefinitely without running out of energy or without consuming extra food or water. And then the third person can also disintegrate anything they touch. Oh, and they can also disintegrate things through telepathy or by shooting a beam.
Yeah, we might need to change that one.
Yeah, because first of all, if you can disintegrate things with telepathy, why would you use a beam or touch?
I don't know. So we'll limit him to touch.
Yeah.
Because he's already got durability engines. So this superhero debate, obviously, these guys are pretty stacked. Like, just they each have like a power ability to give them, and then they have some form of an ability that makes them near immortal. So, but none of them have immortality, which is a random power that I saw. So my first thought for just surface level magnetism guy, he can also create electrical currents because if he applies a magnetic field to pieces of metal in a specific situation, he can cause electricity to be generated. So
Yep.
That guy's pretty neat.
Yeah, that guy's pretty interesting. I feel like we should also clarify the resurrection as well, and that's also on the magnetism guy. So the resurrection ability, I feel like we should maybe limit to
like a cooldown,
either bringing others back to life or limit how many times you can come back to life.
Yeah.
Because then that raises into question, well, like, does he really die if his body is completely destroyed, or can he resurrect himself through a different body, or like, how is that working?
I definitely don't think we should remove his ability to bring others back to life, but his ability to revive himself. What if we said he could only do it every 12 hours or something?
I mean, that's still effectively infinite, you know?
Well, yeah, but theoretically, you kill him twice within 12 hours and he's dead. Permanently. And then also time manipulation guy. That guy is also ridiculously powerful. Slowing, accelerating, reversing, or stopping time. He also is going to need some form of a limiter.
The interesting thing with that is it's not going back in time and it's not going forward in time. It's reversing or accelerating time or slowing or stopping it. And so reversing time would obviously be like the equivalent of going back in time, but not exactly. Because if you reverse time and you take into factor, that's not going to take back actions that have been done necessarily. I just think it's going to reverse like degradation effects and things like that. Because it doesn't really make sense for like if bacteria is multiplying for them to disappear because time's being reversed. But
well, then, but also what is being reversed? Because just a nebulous time that doesn't really do anything.
Well, I mean, the way I'm picturing it is like if you think about gravity, you're accelerating at a certain rate per second,
Sure.
And so if you're reversing time is now negative, so you're going to accelerate in the other direction due to gravity.
I don't think the formulas apply directly like that anymore with these powers.
I like that though. Wouldn't that be awesome?
So he gets the ability to fly so long as he's reversing time.
Yeah. But everyone else is flying up as well, so if he doesn't want to eliminate the entire planet, he has to limit how. Oh, he could send himself up and then slow down time and just move.
See, the way I was interpreting it is it's basically time travel, except theoretically, let's say someone punches him in the eye and he gets a black eye. He reverses time so that person no longer punched him, but he isn't he's removed from time, so he still has a black eye. That's how I was picturing it, to where he can affect time as you would normally picture time travel, except anything that happens to him specifically, like memories and damage, those stick with him
Yeah.
no matter what.
See, I feel like the ability to stop time and not being affected with it is a ridiculously overpowered fighting ability that could really it could really only be combated by itself.
Yeah. But well, that's why we got to give him like a cooldown or something. Like he can only pause time for like 10 seconds.
I mean, you can do a lot in 10 seconds.
You can, but can you do enough to kill any of these guys?
I mean, let's see. So this guy can manipulate magnetic fields and bring himself back to life every 12 hours. Mm-hmm. So
when he dies, does he how does his resurrection work? So like, let's say you've shot and killed him. He's lying on the floor. He has died. It's now time for him to be resurrected. Does he pop into a new body somewhere else, or does he just get back up?
See, I don't know, because if you destroy the only way to make him totally invincible is if you have him appear if like a new body just appears for him, like he just pops back into existence.
It's like in the movie Jumanji, when you die, like a new body just falls from the sky.
Uh-huh.
All right, we'll go with that.
Not Jumanji. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and I forget what the new one's called.
The Next Level.
And Jumanji, The Next Level. You got to get you got to get your pedigree right there.
All right, fine. And then the disintegration guy, I feel like he might need well, I guess it's limited to touch. So honestly, disintegration guy is going to have a really hard time against time manipulation guy, because he's going to have to sneak up on him, because there's no way that he can, like, time manipulation guy pauses time, just walks away.
So the question is, can disintegration guy make it so that anything that touches him disintegrates? Because then time stoppage is a non-factor.
So you're saying he disintegrates time when he touches it?
No. I'm saying like maybe he can make his body secrete something so that if time manipulation guy tries to touch him, he's gonna start disintegrating as soon as time comes back into play.
I mean, sure, but I guess time manipulation guy would have to know that and just use his fire breath, but he can't use fire breath while time is paused. Probably.
Well, I mean, by that logic, you'd be saying he couldn't do anything while time's paused.
Well, I'm just imagining if he tried to, the second he's no longer touching the fire, it's affected by time. Is how I'm picturing it.
Okay. Oh, so he could just blow fire all around whoever he's fighting while he's stopping time, and as soon as time comes back in, this person's just engulfed in flames.
Yes.
Dang, these guys are.
Or he could like speed up time and then just freaking rapid burn someone.
Well, I think the big thing with accelerating time, assuming it affects everyone, is people aren't gonna. It's gonna be hard for people to control themselves with accelerated time because they won't be used to it. Whereas with slowed time, you might, like, you'll be able to control yourself because you have more time to think about it. But obviously,
well, yeah. So I guess the question is, does your brain, does your ability to process information speed or slow when he does this?
So, yeah, what would be the effect of accelerating time?
It would make him slow and everyone else super fast, assuming that they are able to process the information.
Mm-hmm.
Which, let's just say that the brains are like, they scale. And so if he accelerates time, suddenly like everyone else has super speed and he is a slow boy.
Yeah, does it just accelerate time for him?
I I was assuming that every effect he did was to time around him, not affecting him.
So he's just kind of sitting
Because
there while
otherwise,
everything moves by fast. But so what I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, if I'm going against that guy and he
Sure.
accelerates time, am I
Uh-huh.
aware that time is accelerating, or do things seem normal to me?
Things seem normal, except he looks he is reacting very slowly. So he would most likely never have an incentive to accelerate time unless he was
That's what
trying
I'm
to,
thinking.
just get into a certain point in the future.
Because even if the other people can't process, like you guys mentioned earlier, like process what's going on, like they technically their wounds and stuff would still heal, right? So like if they're in the middle of a fight, he decides to try to manipulate time to go quicker, then it's literally only going to benefit other people, not him.
Well, yeah, in a fight, it doesn't make that much sense. But in like if he's trying to get away or something, maybe. And then Resurrection, I feel like we need to give Resurrection love because he can make an undead army. Because he can bring others back to life.
That's true. That'd be really cool.
He could, but ultimately, you can. I mean, depending on the cooldown of time manipulation, you can still do a lot of damage with time manipulation and fire breathing. Stop time, create a bunch of fire, and then make your way to where you want to be next. And every time time comes back into play, they're going to have to figure out where you are.
Well, yeah, okay. No, I'm like, we've given him enough. Let's talk about the abilities of the other, because we know the strategy for time manipulation.
Oh, okay. So I was just talking about like, so yeah, okay, that's fair. So
let's come up with some strategies that are possible against or something. Like what these other guys sticks in the mud. They can do something. So I'm thinking Resurrection, dude. He either like plants a piece of metal on all of them and then just like Magneto style, or can he control the iron in the blood like Magneto does in the
I'm literally thinking Magneto for this guy.
I would say so.
Well, in that case, this guy is suddenly became super but the ability to resurrect others, I'm thinking he just goes to the graveyard, resurrects everyone, and then is like, form a body shield around me.
No, he would implant metal. He would put iron plates on all of them so that he can just force them into a shield around him.
That would
actually, that's pretty supervillain energy. This guy's definitely a supervillain.
Which is funny because with Resurrection, you could actually be a good hero. But also, I figure Resurrection guy might try and make an alliance with like one of them. It's like, yo, if you die, I can heal you. So let's team up against the other dude.
Mm-hmm. Well, see, I don't know. I feel like the third guy is like he's pretty weak compared to the other two. Like he can do things indefinitely, but he can't do that. Like he has the ability of disintegration. So okay, so
honestly, surprisingly enough, I think disintegration is his weaker thing. The main thing, infinite endurance. So imagine like when you start running, your like first step, how much power you have, and then slowly you get tired. Every single step he takes can have that first burst of energy. Like if this guy hits the gym, like grows his strength, he could become ridiculously powerful. Because imagine like Usain Bolt, imagine how fast his like first step is for even the 100-meter sprint. You still get tired within like a meter, and so or you start to lose energy, and so this guy could go at ultra top speed indefinitely.
So
yeah,
I mean, even so, in a fight against either of these two, his abilities are pretty easily combated.
I don't. But
Because I mean,
I don't know.
time manipulation. I feel like that's pretty obvious. So we fleshed that out, and then magnetic manipulation. Like he can just overwhelm the endurance guy by just not that he runs out of energy. He just can't keep up with how many directions he's getting hit from. You know.
Well, but I'm assuming this guy fights in the nude because that way he can maximize his body so he can
Naturally.
disintegrate everything. So any attack that hits him disintegrate. So they need to find a way. Like they need to like drown him or something, or make him suffocate.
So.
And he already has superhuman durability, and so he can go for long times without water.
So
or food.
I mean, let's say this. Okay, I'm not even talking about time manipulation guy because time manipulation plus weapon, boom, he's done.
Well, how?
Okay, well, how are things disintegrating? Like if things aren't going to disintegrate if time stopped.
But. I guess that's a inconsistency with the, because let's say time manipulation guy, he paused time, he's got a sword, and he strikes disintegration dude. Are his powers just not active? I mean, because
his
time's
powers
paused
would be active. I mean, it kind of seems like because we limited it to telepathy disintegration. That he has
touch.
to be, he has to actively choose. Oh, we limited it to touch. Oh, okay. See, I was thinking telepathy.
Also, he has higher durability, so even if for whatever it might take more than a sword, possibly.
Well, I mean, durability won't
well,
be
yes,
so far. If your heart is in two pieces.
I don't know because if time's it's hard to say how because it's entirely fanciful. But so let's say there's a live electric wire. If time is paused and he touches the electric wire, what happens?
So are we saying that anything he's touching is active?
Well, no, that is the
time
question.
Manipulation guy can kind of choose what's affected and what's not. That might be a little too
way
much.
too powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, because suddenly he chooses like us. Yeah, that'd be a lot.
Okay.
So I think it's whatever he's touching. So in the same way that disintegration dude, whatever he's touching, whatever the one dude's touching is affected. So what if he's touching a metal rod and then he has that metal rod touch a live electric wire while time is paused? What happens? Does the touch extension work and does he get shocked or is he fine? Because he's not directly touching the electric wire.
I guess you'd have to say that he'd get shocked. That's what makes sense to me. But I mean, he's not going to do that. But
wait, you'd say he would get shocked?
I would say he would get shocked probably.
So
I guess that follows through with disintegration.
Yeah. So honestly, I was originally thinking the other two guys were super OP, but now I'm on disintegration boat. I think this guy. So you can't kill this guy.
Are you saying that if he's choosing, so like obviously if he's in a fight, he's going to be choosing to disintegrate everything on touch. Is this just vaporized immediately so nothing can even pierce his skin?
That's what I was imagining, but now I realized maybe we should limit that power.
we went from purposely choosing these to be OP, super like crazy stuff, and now we're like, let's tone it back.
Well, no, you have to if you want to make even a remote argument for any of them, because otherwise it's just they're all infinitely powerful. They all win.
Maybe we should just leave it at that, and then talk about maybe if any of these are practical in
everyday life. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a draw. 3-way draw because the resurrection dude infinitely revives himself. Disintegration dude, you can't hurt him at all. And then time manipulation dude, he just pauses time and watches everyone fight.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe with infinite power, time manipulation dude wins just because he paused time indefinitely. And so then like he kills resurrection dude, and so he doesn't have time to revive himself because time is paused. But anyway, 3-way tie. So which one would you take in real life?
The last one. Because like superhuman durability and endurance, why wouldn't you? You can literally do everything better. Everything you do on a normal basis is better.
You can achieve roughly the same result by time manipulation.
Time manipulation, you're never late to anything again. You can take as much time as you want to recover.
But that's not going to increase your strength at all. Like if you still need to lift something that's 2 tons, that time manipulation is not going to help
super
you.
Strength. He has super durability and endurance.
Which would endurance leak into strength?
No.
Like you could punch at full power and carry something, but you're not going to be able to carry something more than you currently could. You could just carry the heaviest thing that you currently can carry indefinitely.
Yeah. I still think I'd go superhuman durability endurance just because like
That's fair.
you can be more show offy with it than you can be with time manipulation.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I don't think I'd choose time manipulation just because I wouldn't want to play in God because it's just almost too much power to even enjoy life at that point.
Yeah.
I'd go magnetism, manipulation, and resurrection, dude.
Brent's like, I don't want to play God, but I do want to bring people back to life.
Well, yeah, duh. Because number one, I'm the most famous celebrity on Earth, and number two, I get instant fame and fortune by being able to revive people. Like I suddenly became the most important person on Earth. Like life insurance policies are now payments to me to revive you when you die.
That's funny.
And then the Magneto powers, like, come on, bro. Of course you want Magneto
That
powers.
is tempting.
Where does Phil Gates come into all this?
The cannibal?
Yeah, that guy.
What do you mean?
Why is he relevant to this situation?
I don't know. Does he pay you to bring people back to life? So that he can
After he's eaten them?
No. Like, hey, I need you to go to this graveyard and bring these people back to life so I can eat them.
I need a snack.
Wow. I mean, I guess I'll have to decide my morals if I'm willing to do that. Revive people just to get eaten. Oof.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a concern.
Maybe I could threaten people with that.
That's what I mean. I feel like the first two definitely have the highest potential for villainy.
Mm-hmm. Also, fire breathing would be pretty cool.
But. Yeah, fire breathing would be pretty cool. Never be cold again. Time manipulation, you know.
Renaissance fairs just became a lot more interesting when you get to cosplay a dragon.
Facts.
All right, so I'm taking magnetism manipulation. Lindsay, you're taking superhuman durability, dude.
Yes.
And are you taking time manipulation?
I'll take
Daniel?
time manipulation.
All right, we got an even wrap.
And we could be a superhero team together.
Yeah. I might be a supervillain, but we'll decide that later.
It depends if you consider space pirates to be heroes.
All right, Lindsay, world building. What is it?
World building. So we are returning to Bombasia, a story that is happening within Bombasia. Quick recap. There's an episode we talked about the people that live there, what the area around looks like, and the plant life. But story-wise, correct me if I'm wrong, but the main character, which I don't think we've discovered a name or anything to identify him as yet, finds a stone, tries to seek knowledge and wisdom about it, finds out that it's from the planet that they want, and he wants to go find out more about it. They steal schematics for a plane to try to go backtrack where this could have come from. Then they fail at making the plane from the schematic. They spend him and his buddies spend some time in jail, break out, and I think that's where we're at. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, so they just escaped and they stole the plane and they're going to the planet and they're being chased by the church of the bridge.
Of the bridge.
All right. And also, I got some feedback that I should not type while doing this. I say nay to that feedback because
that's like 20 minutes extra your work.
Yeah. And so I've got my timer right here. We're going 5 minutes. So what is on the planet? We've waited all season to find out.
Well, I
what's
mean,
on the planet.
We have to decide, do they just glide down peacefully? I mean, it could be exciting if the plane's defunct a little bit, but maybe it'd be better if they just kind of glide down somewhere.
All right, the plane loses every wing it had. It is now plummeting to the planet.
How many wings were you picturing?
17. So loses all 17 wings. Luckily, they had a parachute, so it's fine.
Okay.
So they've landed on the planet, but they've like drilled into they're like partly not submerged. What's the word I'm looking for? Whatever. Like
they're surrounded by water.
No, like they're within the ground. So they've drilled a little bit. What?
Buried?
No, it starts with an N. Anyway, so they're lodged within the ground partly because their parachute wasn't that large. They miscalculated parachute size. Rookie mistake, but they did it. So they're partly underground. They're trying to get out. They open the top hatch. First look at the planet. What is it?
So it's got kind of a greenish haze.
All right.
And
the greenish haze is because it's toxic gas and they die instantly. Story over. All right, that has been world building. So look for it next season. No,
it's still a livable gas. They don't know what it is, but there's just kind of like a green fog over everything.
Maybe it tastes weird.
Tastes like sulfur.
Pea soup. Gophers.
Pea soup.
Tastes like gophers.
Sure. I like that.
All right. So it tastes like gophers. Now, what kind of terrain do we have? Or can they even see terrain yet? Or is this haze so thick that they can't even tell?
So I'm picturing the scene where like Yoda's riding the back of Luke Skywalker.
Dagobah?
Yeah, Dagobah. That's where I'm starting to get from the green haze. But
I don't know, because they already have like a swampish type thing up on the asteroid belt. So I think it'd be pretty coincidental if that was also the planet.
Yeah. I mean, what does the ground look like? What color is it? Is it dirt? Is it a man-made?
It's asphalt.
It's asphalt.
Yeah.
I think I can
They
see.
crashed landed and got halfway lodged into asphalt.
Yes. As the eye can see. And they're like, hot dang, this is asphalt. This is like, who knows? Maybe people live on the planet because there's asphalt on the floor.
But it's as far as they can see, and there's no other signs of civilization. So maybe the full planet, that's just what the ground is asphalt.
Maybe, but they can't tell yet because they can only see so far.
Yeah.
And so it's all asphalt. So they get out of their plane, and they start walking. So they walk in a direction.
Were they weren't still in their plane, they were in the ground.
Well, they were in the plane in the ground, then they got out of the plane out of the ground.
Wait, did they attach parachutes asphalt to their plane?
Yes.
Okay.
Come on.
Duh.
It's like the Larry Boy. Like I think Larry Boy Mobile had there's an episode of Larry Boy where it's the rumor weed episode. Anyway, so they're out of the plane. They start walking. So they're going for a little bit. They encounter something. What do they encounter?
They start to see craters.
Craters. Okay. So they see craters. Is there anything in these craters, or are they just kind of chilling?
Quicksand.
Quicksand is in the craters. All right. Quicksand. Do shenanigans happen where the friend being silly is like, "What's in this crater?" and then he starts to sink in the quicksand?
No, there's actually a giant worm.
Are we going with Dune? I like this. All right. There's a giant worm. Giant worm. We might have to change that for copyright reasons.
Oh,
but
I mean, I haven't read any
all
of
right.
Dune.
It's a giant gummy worm. No.
A giant.
All right. We're out of time. But what can we use instead of a worm?
Sand snake.
No.
A giant antelope.
Giant goat.
A giant cantaloupe.
It's a cantaloupe.
All right. There's a giant cantaloupe in this in the quicksand.
By all metrics, from what they can tell, it's a cantaloupe.
Giant cantaloupe by all measure. All right. So we'll leave Bombasia as it is. They've made it to the planet. We finally know what the planet's like. It's got some asphalt and gopher tasting haze. So we'll leave you there. We will revisit Bombasia next week. But unfortunately, that's going to wrap up the episode for today. Thank you all for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and follow. Daniel, what did you think of today? Have any final thoughts?
Oh, nice to get back into it. I'm so tired. It's getting close to bedtime, but
it's 2 p.m., but it's getting close to bedtime. Fair.
Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed the discussions we had.
Sum up this episode in one word for
us. To avoid using the word bombastic, I would say that a whole lot of superchery was going on.
Oh, dang it.
What I was looking for. All right, Lindsay, final
honestly, I don't have much to say. I legitimately thought I was going to be able to use the bombastic word somewhere, but I forgot completely about it. Slightly considering rearranging my sleep cycle, but before I have to do that, I have to watch a live streamed wedding. So I'll get back to you on that.
Yeah. Wait. How did we not use superchery during the superhero debate when someone who can stop time was involved? An attack going at a disadvantage? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't know. We suck at our own podcast. So shout out to Mom, Will Smith. By the way, I didn't tell you guys this, but I've started to comment on Will Smith's YouTube videos on our podcast. So if you check out a Will Smith video and you see a comment by We Bombastic Few, give it a like and hopefully.
All right, promote us.
Yeah. All right. So that'll do it. We hope you guys had a good time and took your mind off things for a little bit. Enjoy, maybe laugh once or twice, hopefully. But other than that, we'll see you next week. Have a bombastic one and good. I messed it up. All right. End it. End it.
Cut it here.
All right.
Adios.